So it's the end of day 2, Tuesday. I'm not going to be doing any more daily videos after this one. This video will explain to you the English and the phonics and reading that you need to do for the next few days, as well as the RE and the art and the... Exactly. I'm going to create maths videos, one per day. I'll put them all on the website tonight, and you can look at them as you do the maths tasks. The children can watch them directly. I'm going to aim those videos at the children specifically, so you won't need to give them as much support, hopefully. Obviously, check through their answers, check they know what they're doing. But if it looks like they know what they're doing, then they won't need as much support. English and the other foundation subjects I am going to explain in this video. Morning routines, please keep them the same. Send me an email when you start school and say good morning to me, and I'll give you a good morning back, of course. And then move on with your PE, writing the long date, and phonics. And phonics should stay the same. Use that PowerPoint for this week. I'll send some more materials next week. Go on to then reading eggs and some, or reading a book. Whose idea was it to do the Joe Wicks workout every single day? It wasn't my idea. Whew. If he can't do it, how am I supposed to do it? Whew. Well, that's today's PE with Joe. So, quickly get ready for phonics. Make sure you write the long date. Send me an email this morning. If you haven't already, I've had some great emails this week. So, good morning. Have a great day, everyone. So here we go. English for the next 3 days. For the first couple of slides, I've put some information about the national curriculum, the specific reading and writing aims for English. You can read through those if you want. There's a link on the previous slide there to the website where the whole curriculum is if you'd like to download it and read that as your proper teachers now. This video is for parents, or this part of the video is for parents. It explains briefly how I'd like you to teach the English for the next few days. And there's, see all these different objectives you have to learn. You've got to create your lesson plans around and differentiate and all the other bits and bobs to make sure that we can, once we tick all these boxes for every single child, it's time to move on to year 2 pretty much. There's always different ways to push children further and further to get really good writing out of them. So, Wednesday. So today we're going to read through Little Red Riding Hood. The info is in your learning pack, it's there. I'm also going to put a PowerPoint on the class page. We can do that together to begin with. Then we're going to practice capital letters. Where do capital letters go? If you click on that BBC Teach link, you can see a fun game show, which is about kids choosing where to best put the capital letters. Then you can read together this text and think about, oh no, what's the problem here? Where are all the capital letters also missing? So in year 1, we need to know that capital letters need to be used for the sight word I, as in I am. That's a capital I, so when you're referring to yourself, personal pronoun. Also for some special nouns like days of the week and months of the year. For names, okay, so these are proper nouns for names. So you can see their Little Red Riding Hood should technically have a capital letter for all 4 parts of her name. Simpler if you look at Granny. Okay, Granny should have a capital G because it's her name. And like, my name, Mr. Feely, you've got the capital M and you've got the capital F. Forgot my own name then. We've practiced it a lot in class, talking about capitals and what's an important word and what's not and when to use them. Okay, but it is one of the things we're learning throughout the year. You can revise that a little bit and you can look through this text, see where they're all missing. And if you click on the next slide, you can see I've purple penned all of the corrections. So I would suggest you have a look together, see if the children can mark off which ones, what's wrong with it, what's missing, read it together. Oh, why is that a capital? Should the capital go there after the full stop or not? So capital letters, once again, beginning of sentences for special places and special names. And for I, there's no I in this text, I must say. And there you go, purple. Then it's a task. On this BBC link, there's lots of Little Red Riding clips, and you can leave the children with those clips to watch them. And what you can do is you can choose minimum 3 favourite clips and write about each one with a little picture about what happens in that clip. So I've chosen I Love Red, which is the name of the first one, and I've written Little Red Riding Hood went to the market to buy food. You heard stories about a wolf, which is literally what happens in that video. Depending how much time you've got, how engaged your child is, you could get them to write lots more, or just a minimum of 3. Up to you, up to them. If they'd like to write some more, they can. If you've got a favourite 4, then do a 4th one, okay? And please, in the big purple book, long date at the top, because we've done this in the morning, and with the quick title of what each video is and the sentences. Remember, of course, you've got some reminders here for them all. Correct pencil grip, using phonics, and all these things that I've been through the last 2 days, so you can use them to remind it. A big thing about reading it again, it's a big year one objective that they can reread their own work. So that's, why do we write things down? So they can be read. Why do we write down shopping lists? So when we go to the shop, we don't have to remember, we can read it again. There's that power of reading and writing, why we do it. So a big thing for them is read it again. And, if the sounds aren't making sense, you can say to them, well, look, you haven't used the correct sounds, that's why. So let's look at our sound families mapped and think about what sound it is you want and which letters we would use to represent that sound. Okay, then, once they finish the task, they can come to you for some feedback on how to use the capital letters properly or the correct sounds they should be using. Spelling, it's a bit of a tough one. A couple of you asked about spelling, actually. If they're using the right sound that makes sense, it's okay, really, at a year 1 level. But if they're using a totally wrong sound that wouldn't make sense, it's not great. And there are certain words they should know. Definitely use those 100 high-frequency words I printed for you before Christmas. That'll help. Depends, how much you want to go into it, because, as we all know, as English speakers, spelling rules of English go on forever and ever and ever. They can cause a bit of stress, and definitely later up in the school, spelling is really important, and Spelling Share's a great app for spelling. But for me personally, using the right sounds is enough right now. Some of those children definitely be pushing them to use the correct spelling of words, but within reason, I'd say. And that's it for Wednesday, okay? It's Thursday, so the next part is we've done our Little Riding Hood today. We're going to read a different story. We're going to read Jack and the Beanstalk today. We're going to revise those capital letters, get the children to reread through yesterday's work. At the top, you can see there's a description of the task. Read through yesterday's work and look for those capital letters. Why did you use them? You can read Jack and the Beanstalk, or you can use the class clips videos about Jack and the Beanstalk. Here's an activity about putting the sentences in order, so story sequencing. And I've animated it for you, so you can click through them and they will go in the right place. So let them have a go. Don't do this with them. This is the correct answer. So they can do it themselves first by talking about it and whatever. And then here's the answers. Essentially, it's all put in order for you. Okay, their task then is to write these 5 sentences. They can copy them from the screen if you want, or one thing we would do in class would be we'd learn it off by heart. It's called Talk for Writing. We'd learn it off by heart. We'd repeat them time and time again with actions, and those actions will help us learn it. But you could also just leave it up there and they could copy it, whichever you wish, whichever works well for you. That's the end of Thursday. That's Thursday's aims. That leads us into Friday, which is the gingerbread man. I've got the PowerPoint on the class page for you. You've also got it printed, and you can look at this gingerbread. It's called gingerbread man dice, but I've taught it, and they know that it's what they should know. 1 dice is actually called a die. 1 die, 2 dice as a singular and plural, which is something we taught singular and plural nouns in the past, and this was an example of one of those irregular ones. So, here you go. You could draw the outline of a gingerbread for them, or they could give it a go themselves. You've got a cutter at home, you could use that, I suppose. And the idea is you roll the dice, and then you draw all the different bits and bobs of the gingerbread man to make him yourself. And then what I'd like the children to do is annotate it. So draw some lines with a ruler and describe what their gingerbread man has got. 4 or 5 things would be great. So I've put, he's happy, he has white sleeves, he has an orange bow tie, he has different coloured buttons. You could add all sorts of different details. It would be lovely. And this would be a good time, end of the week, to look at this writing from today and look at the writing from yesterday and think about what next steps the child would need for next week. So when they start writing again next week, they can think in their mind, well, I didn't put finger spaces, so I need to know finger spaces this week. Or, oh, I really forgot those capital letters last week, so I'm going to try and focus this week. Okay, that's the whole point. We use the Writing Revolution at school to support writing. Mrs. Reed suggested it to us, and one of the things they say there is actually the planning of writing and the review of writing is the parts where children make the most progress and they're thinking the most about their writing, rather than actually when you're sitting there standing and writing things down. That's just quite, you're just sitting there and writing. It's not really thinking about the writing, and that thinking about the writing is where we solidify the learning, make it a bit sticky, so you can remember. Okay, that's your English for the week, teachers. Hopefully that's clear, and you can work with that yourselves without any more videos. Mental maths. As I said before, children should be learning these off by heart. They should quickly recognise moving away from using fingers, moving away from using manipulative deans and counting things, because they should just see in their heads 8, take away 2, and they've got 6 left. Religious education. This term we've been learning about how Christians view God, and one of the big things we talk about in RE is an appreciation of how lots of different people in the world believe in lots of different things. Before Christmas we talked about what Christians believe about Jesus. Now we're learning about what Christians believe about God, and in the coming terms, if we end up coming back to school, we'll be learning about Judaism and what Judaism teaches about God. There's a PDF there that's full of YouTube links and some things about prayer and giving thanks, which is the next part of our unit on Christianity. So if you'd like to take part in that activity, the resources are all there for you. Art. I've put a PDF on the class page that explains what you need to do. There's a link to a great YouTube channel there about learning how to draw and paint and do things in art and design, and you're going to learn how to make one of these, which looks a little bit like my dad. But it's a pop-up puppet. It ties in with our St. Patrick's learning last week, so have some great fun with it. It took me 15 minutes or so to make, I think. I was watching the video. I did watch the video twice. Might be a bit quicker next time. And then give it a go at doing another one. Don't have to do a leprechaun. You can do something else. That'd be great. And you can stick it in your learning book and we can have a look at it later, or put it to the side, whatever you wish. But it's great, great fun. I sent a video of it to Mrs. Elliot earlier and she laughed a lot. Music. If you've got an instrument at home, then you can practice playing the instrument. I've put a PDF up on the website with a link to Living La Vida Loca by Ricky Martin, and there's some information on a PDF there about listening to it and noticing all the different things about how many people are singing, what kind of music it is, what's happening in the video, and all sorts, okay? It ties in with our unit where we've been learning about all different types of genres of music, from Bhangra to drum and bass and classical. Okay, so have fun with it. Let me know how the music is. Of course, if you've got your own music you'd like to listen to, or if adults at home have got some favourite artists or bands that they'd like to share with their children, great time for it now. But the resources are there if you want them. Woo. Zoom. Zoom. Of course. Do you know what I could really do with some music? And if there was someone out there that was a music teacher, or someone who knew something about music, we could get some music for the channel. Maybe someone could sing a song and I could put it on there. It's not even Christmas anymore. Which lets you read how to make one of these. Well, if he can't do it, how am I supposed to do it? What else? I've got this mug. Right. Time to get to work. Have a great few days.